Hi guys, this is Mick Satcher from 9daysout.com. If you are here and watching this video, I presume you are possibly interested in selling your property. If you are, I'm actually a real estate investor and that's what I do for a living full time. I buy and sell fixer-upper properties. I don't care how ugly your property is, I will buy it and I will make you an offer, usually within 24 to 48 hours from inspecting the property. So if you're interested in selling, please visit my website below, which is 9daysout.com. Click on the link below. And while you're there, you'll get access to a free report titled How to Sell Your House Within 9 Days. Um, and basically, that report's going to give you all the information that you would ever need to know about me and how to possibly sell your property fast. But um, today, what I plan on doing, like I said in my previous video, I'm planning on making a bunch of videos in regards to how investors like myself figure out what type of offer we can make you on your property. Typically, when a seller like you would call someone like us, they're looking for what's called a cash offer. And I'm blown away with how many times I go and meet sellers and they tell me that such and such offered them $30,000 cash. And, I asked them how'd they come up with that offer. They're like, I don't know. It was such a low ball offer. Um, and it just blows me away. I, on the other hand, when I go and meet with a seller, I really sit there and actually explain to them exactly how we come up with our offer. And by doing that, it kind of puts everything in black and white. And I don't want people to think I'm just throwing out lowball numbers out there. So I really do want sellers to know that there is some method to my madness as far as how I come up with offers. Now, typically, most of the good investors out there, they're all going to come up with offers that are very, very close to each other. And the reason why that is because we're all kind of going off pretty much the same formula. So if you happen to call me and I make you a cash offer and you think it's too low, it's very likely that the next person that you talk to who's also a cash investor or a cash buyer like myself is going to be very close to that same offer. Um, Now, before I continue, this is my little wand that I use to beat myself up every once in a while, but nonetheless, it's for me to scratch myself. But so before I continue, I kind of wanted to just kind of put that out there. However, now I'm going to kind of disclose to you and give you a little bit of a lesson or a tutorial in regards to how exactly an investor like myself comes up with the cash offer. So, first things first. Um, when we go into looking at a property, the number one most important thing that we pay attention to is how much that property would sell for in perfect condition. So, for example, in order to do that, we have to figure out okay, here's your house. It's a three-bedroom home, one bathroom home, and it's about 1,000 square feet, and it's located in this area. In order for me to figure out exactly how much that house is worth, I have to compare it to other three-bedroom, one bathroom homes also within that same area. And when I say within the same area, if the house is in the city, for example, it needs to be literally, within 1 or 2 blocks of your property. If the house is perhaps in the suburbs somewhere, you can possibly go outside of your house, like a radius of your home. Let's say your house is right here. We would take about a 1 mile radius outside of your property and we would compare it to other homes within that same area, typically within 1 mile. You don't want to go past 1 mile because an appraiser down the road, when we decide to buy the property, fix it up, and resell the property, and the person who's buying it from us needs to go to the bank to get a loan, the appraiser for the bank is going to appraise the property and he's only going to compare it to other similar homes to it. For example, if your house is 1,000 square foot home and another house, in your neighborhood that's 2,000 square feet just sold and it's sold for, $200,000 as opposed to, um, you know, what we think your house is worth, let's say $100,000, and you think, no way, that house down the street just sold for $200,000. Yeah, it did, but it's double the size of your home. That is not a good comparable. In our terminology, that's called a comparable home. However, other homes that are in your area that are good comparable homes would be another home that's also 3 bedrooms. Maybe you can go 4 bedrooms perhaps, but you don't want to usually do that. You want to compare a 3 bedroom home to another 3 bedroom home. And you don't want to compare your house to other homes if your house is 1,000 square feet and the other house is 2,000 square feet. You want to be within about 200 square feet, or maybe 20% of what your house is. So it's okay for me to compare your house to another house if the other house is 1,200 square feet. But if it starts to go over 1,200 square feet, it's starting to get a little bit harder to really figure out if it's a good comparison. So, first things first, I need to know what your house is selling for in today's market. And to do that, I have to compare it to other houses similar to yours in bedroom count, bathroom count, size, appeal. For example, if you have a rancher home, you don't want to compare that to a 2 story if you can avoid it, because rancher homes sell for a little bit more than 2 stories. So that's the number one thing that we pay attention to. Second, I have to look and figure out exactly how much it's going to cost to fix up your property. Okay. Um, this is a number that's subjective. You might think it's only going to take $10,000 to fix up your property because you're thinking that's all it's going to cost in supplies. However, when someone like me comes in there, I have to price in the supplies, and then I also have to price in the labor because I don't do the work myself. Look at my hands. I have like feminine, well, not feminine hands, but I have real soft hands. I don't do any of the work myself. I'm not good at that. I'm good at number crunching, but I have people who go out there and fix the properties. Now I have to pay them. I wish I could get them to do the work for free, but that's not the case. So I have to figure out how much it's going to cost to fix up your house. Okay. So in this scenario, let's assume as of right now that so far we've come up with the fact that your house is worth $100,000 because that's what other homes like it if are worth. I'm just writing some numbers down. I'm going to show it to you in black and white. So 100,000 is what the property is worth. And let's assume it's going to take $20,000 worth of rehab or like repairs. Okay, so right now we're at this $100,000, $20,000 in rehab and repairs. Now, once we have those two numbers, we can kind of get close to figuring out how much we can offer for your property. Another thing that we have to pay attention to is once I buy your property, fix it up, and resell it, how long is it going to take me to sell this property? For example, if someone tries to sell a property in your neighborhood and the realtor sign goes up Monday, is it sold by Friday? Is it sold in like 5 days? Or does it take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months to sell? So that number is called days on market. And that's a number that we pay attention to because that really determines how much we can offer for a property. Because if it's taking a long time for your property to sell, I need to take that into consideration. Here's why. Because from the time that I take ownership of your property, I need to pay all the utilities. I need to pay the water bill. I need to pay the gas bill. I need to pay the electric bill. I need to take care of mowing the lawn. I need to pay the sewer bill. I need to pay all those bills. So I need to know how long I'm expected to possibly hold the property. And that's called holding costs. Okay? In addition, so let's just say holding costs. Let's just say to own your property, it costs maybe $300 a month. That includes electric, gas, water, everything. And let's assume it's going to take 4 months to sell your property. So from the time I take ownership to the time that I'm able to sell it off to someone else, I'm going to hold it for 4 months. And it costs me $300 a month to hold it. So 300 times 4 is $1,200. Okay, so now we're at holding costs of $1,200. Okay. Next, I need to figure out how much it's going to cost me, like the money that I borrow to buy your property. Let me tell you a little secret. Pretty much 95% of the cash buyers out there who tell you that they're cash buyers and will make you a cash offer and all that kind of stuff. We will make you a cash offer, but guess what? Do you think the cash is really ours, or are we getting the cash from someone? 95% of the time, we're getting the cash from someone. Either we've got some lines of credit that we've got from the bank that we're using, or we're borrowing money from private investors, so on and so forth. And guess what? When we borrow that money, just like when you borrow money, it costs money. So that's called carrying costs, or you can call that finance costs. Okay. Typically, when we're buying properties that are fixer-uppers and ugly, properties and have some risk involved with them, we typically pay anywhere from 10 to 12% to borrow that money. So I'm just going to put a number out there that, I'm going to hold the money for 4 months. It's going to cost me maybe $1,000 just to borrow the money. Okay. Next, there isn't one single property that I've bought and fixed up in my time that I've never run into some type of repair issues or some type of surprises. So typically I'll put some type of, number in there for a surprise. In this scenario, let me put maybe $1,500 for surprises. Okay. So here's where we are. The house is worth $100,000. It needs $20,000 in repairs. It's going to cost $1,200 to hold the property, which is utility costs and all that stuff. It's going to cost around $1,000 to borrow the money that I need to fix up the place, and then another $1,500 in surprises. Okay? So, from that number, now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and now we're really trying to figure out, okay, how much can we offer you? So, let me just do something here. If I started with 100, another thing that we have to do is take away realtor fees. Because guess what? Realtor fees and transfer tax. Oh, I'm sorry, my dog's barking. Hold on. Sorry about that. My dog was barking. I didn't want you to hear him barking. All right. So what I was saying was, I also have to take into account realtor fees, which is typically 6%, and transfer tax, which is around 7%. Which is another 1%. And then also closing costs. It's going to cost money to buy the property, and it's going to cost me money to sell the property. And typically that translates to about 3% of what the property is worth. So it's going to cost me maybe about 1.5% to buy it, 1.5% to sell it. Okay? So let me show you those numbers. So it's worth $100,000, $20,000 in repairs, $1,200 in holding costs, $1,000 in finance costs for me to borrow the money, $1,500 in surprises, $6,000 to sell the property. When I sell it for $100,000, I'm going to pay $6,000 to sell it. I'm going to pay another $1,000, which is 1%, to transfer the property. Typically in Pennsylvania, you pay what's called a 2% transfer tax. The seller pays 1%, the buyer pays 1%. And then closing costs for me to buy the property and sell it. This includes attorney fees, title insurance, title fees, settlement fees, recording fees, all that kind of junk. Okay? So, in order for me to come up with a number of what I can offer you on a property, what I need to do is start with how much it's worth, take away the repairs, take away the holding costs, take away the finance costs, take away the surprises, take away the realtor fee, take away the transfer tax, and then take away the closing costs. So if I did all that, I come up with a number of, in this scenario, $66,300. Now, do you feel that that's the number that I'm going to offer you on the property? Probably not, right? Here's why. If I bought that property from you for $66,000 and put 20,000 into it. Now I'm going to have 66 plus 20, which is 86,300 into the property. By the time I sell it for 100,000 and take care and then pay all these things, I'm basically going to break even. I'm not going to make any money in this transaction. So in order for me to come up with a cash offer, what I need to do is figure out how much lower than this number can I offer you for the property. Okay? Me personally, I have a simple rule of thumb. I basically am willing to make cash offers on any property under the following scenario. If I buy the property and it's going to take around $20,000 worth of repairs, in order for me to take the risk to take that property off your hands and take the risk in today's market and take that risk and try and make money in 4 or 5 months, so on and so forth, I need to make at least the same amount of money of the repairs that I'm putting in. So for example, if I buy your property and it needs $20,000 worth of repairs, I need to, on the back end, after I sell the property, I need to make $20,000 as well. That's my rule of thumb. So in that scenario, so that's the revenue that I need to make on a property in order for me to take the risk to buy it. So what that means is once I take the $66,000, that is the result of taking all these numbers away from what your house is worth. Once I take the $66,000 and then I take $20,000 away from it, I'm left with $46,300. That number is what we call in the business maximum allowable offer. Okay, MAO. That's another term that we use as investors. So maximum allowable offer. This is the number that I would offer you on a cash deal in a scenario like this. If your property is worth 100 and I take into account all these things, I will offer you $46,300 for your property. Now I could come in there and just offer you $20,000 and just see if you bite. That's not how I operate. Here's exactly what I would do with you when I sat with you, and I would go through the process with you and show you, listen, this is how I came up with my number. Okay? Under that scenario, it allows me to, under that scenario, it allows me to, sorry, I was just checking to see if the video still works. It allows me to buy the property, take the risk to buy the property, and allows me to make $20,000. Now, maybe you're thinking, holy moly, this Mick guy is crazy. I'm not going to let him make $20,000 on me. Look, if that's the case, obviously I'm not the right buyer, but in the end, I am offering a service and I am taking a risk to take your property off of you, and I got to sit there and fix it. And there might be a lot of things that go wrong with this transaction. What I thought was going to be a $20,000 repair could easily become a $27,000 repair. It happens all the time. But more importantly, what I really want you to consider is this. $20,000 might sound like a lot, but guess what? That involved 4 months of work. So in 4 months, I was able to do all this stuff because it took me 4 months to fix it up, put it back on the market, deal with the sellers, deal with the buyers, deal with the realtors, deal with all the hassle of maintaining the property, worrying whether or not people are going to break into the property. I have to go there all the time. I have to go there every 3 days and travel to it and so on and so forth. I know it sounds like it's just easy work, but it's not. It's work. This is my job. So guess what? After I did all this, in 4 months, I made $20,000. Here's the interesting thing. Take $20,000 divided by 4 months, and guess what that equals? That equals $5,000. So 20,000 divided by 4 months worth of work, I realistically only made $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month is $60,000 a year. It's very probable that you make more than that right now. So that's how we look at these type of transactions. You know, I know a lot of people think that it's just, you know, it's just easy work that we do, but it's not. There's a lot of stuff involved in this type of transaction. And when you really break it down into that scenario, it really makes sense that, you know, I'm not trying to steal the home for you and I'm not trying to rake you over the coals. I'm just trying to make a living like everyone else. I just happen to do it in a different way than you do. And that's basically how I come up with cash offers. All right. So, hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed this. And again, if you're interested in getting a cash offer for your property and having someone like me go through the whole process with you, I'd be more than happy to do this with you. I can even do it with you over the phone. I don't even have to come over to your house. I can simply, you know, get your opinion in regards to how much it takes to fix up your house, and I can go through this whole process. So please, if you can, go to my website below, which is 9daysout.com. And once you're there, you'll have my contact information, and you'll also have the ability to sit there and simply request a free report from me. And once you do that, you'll be in my system where I can email you and stay in touch with you. And I would love to hear from you. And again, if you have any questions or comments, please comment below. And please give me a thumbs up on this video if you feel that I shared something good with you, because that tells YouTube that I'm actually creating something of worth, and allows and tells them to keep my video on there and not kick me off. I don't want them to kick me off. Please help me. Give me 2 thumbs up. And then last but not least, share this video with your friends. Do you know someone who might need to sell their property? If that's the case and I end up actually buying the property, I might even be able to help you out and get you some type of referral fee. I can at least send you to dinner. You know, maybe give you $100 gift certificate somewhere so you can go out to dinner somewhere. Or sometimes I can give you cash. So anyway, that's it for now. I will share another video next. And the next topic is going to be how I can offer you exactly the price you need, regardless of how much equity you have in your house. Okay, that'll be a good one. Thanks.